I tempted. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia and this is That's So Letitia. And to all of my new viewers, watchers, supporters, subscribers, welcome guys. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy the content. And to all of my returning viewers, watchers, supporters, subscribers, welcome back guys. As always, it is a pleasure to see you. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So as I am just catching you guys up with what it is that I've been seeing here in the beauty / makeup world, we're going to do our face. It's only right. So I am going to prime using Fenty Beauty's Pro Filter Mattifying Primer. So yes, speaking of what I've been seeing, let's start with the absolute newest. Today, McGrath unveiled her holiday collection. Have you guys seen it? What are we thinking? Now, me, I am a McGrath girl through and through. I purchased her last 2 to 3 holiday sets without incident. And this one, oh Lord, did I really put that much? This one, I'm leaning towards getting like one of the mini palettes, similar to the one that I actually demoed and did a wear test on. It was for Star Wars. This one had like, I want to say 5 shades to it. It's like a little palette. I'm leaning this year more or less towards buying one of those palettes, and here's why. McGrath is the absolute bomb diggity. I'm telling my age, but McGrath is awesome. But I don't know, like, I don't know. Just this particular one thus far, I mean, it's giving. It's giving McGrath. I love that about her. She has a signature look to her palettes, to her pigments, to her shimmers. But I don't know, like the last 2 holiday palettes that I have of hers, I'm technically still using them. So unless I do like a major declutter and actually make room to justify like buying this whole new holiday set that now has several sets of blushes and all the things, then I don't know. I'm probably gonna go small this year with her. Just saying. So now that the primer is on, I'm going to do my foundation. So Haus Labs foundation. This is a Skin Tech foundation. I love this one, but I could not find one shade that literally matched me. I had to put 2 together. I used 425 and 460. Both of these are medium deep. One is neutral, one is warm. And the reason I say that is because the 460 warm, I look like a Oompa Loompa. Like, I think it looked really cute on camera, but in person, it wasn't. So I'm going to just mix the 2 as I said. And using my new favorite foundation brush, It Cosmetic Airbrush. This one is number 132. I am going to start blending and applying. Now under my eyes, I'm putting, this is by Nars. This is their Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This one is in the shade Dark 0 or Chocolate. And I am using, this is a Morphe M224 brush to just blend that out. You guys know I love, love, love this concealer. It's as close as possible to my skin tone. It gives me great coverage if I am not wearing a full face of makeup, but just a little bit to kind of get out the door. And it wears beautifully throughout the day. I have absolutely no complaints. To me, that is like a core concealer. It honestly is. Everybody should have that concealer if they do their makeup. And even if you don't, like if you have some blemishes that you want to hide, that will definitely get it done for you, and it will get it done in a natural looking way. And then on top of that, I'm going to use, this is by Makeup by Mario. This is SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. This is the one that has claims that it has caffeine extract in it. You know how I feel about caffeine? Definitely up under the eye area. It does help to awaken the eye space, brighten, make you seem less tired. And it also, depending on the strength of the caffeine in the product, it also helps to remove or at least eliminate the appearance of inflammation, which is the under eye puffiness. I'm so here for it. I love it. And then of course my Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in shade number 11. And this is going to go bridge of the nose, chin area just a bit, and then up here as well. And now I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and just blend out all of the concealers. And now to set the concealer, I will be using by Bakierie. This is their Flower Powder, Setting Powder. This one is in the shade Almond. I will be applying it using a damp beauty sponge. So the second setting powder I'm going to use is Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Purpose Setting Powder in Translucent Medium. Now this is for baking purposes. Again, I have not baked in a very long time, honestly, whether it was on my face or in the kitchen. So let's see how this is gonna go. And look at me. Still a thin layer. Oh, I'm so used to just thin layers. Okay, I think that's enough for the chin. We're gonna add a little bit more to the eye area. Oh, that looks like it's so much on camera, but it is not in person. Okay. So while this is baking, normally I would kind of set my whole face, but I'm not, just because there's extra powder I'm gonna have to wipe off. But I will apply my bronzer to perimeter of my forehead. Jacyln Cosmetics bronzer indication. You guys already know what's understood need not to be spoken. So let's apply. And we'll just pretty much leave it there. Seeing as how we have all the baking powder on. So moving on to our shadow while our face is baking at 375 degrees. The shadow I am going to be using, or should I say the palette I am going to be using, it's by Miss Danessa Myricks, and this is, it's a rather long name, this is the Groundwork Defining Neutrals. Says that this palette is for eyes, brows, face, and lips. So this is an all-in-one face palette. Let's get into it. I picked this one up after seeing a few reviews. Normally I kind of shy away from them, but I was afraid that this palette was going to be just another neutral palette. Apparently it is not. So there's two formulas for each shade. That is pretty amazing. So there's two formulas, right, for each shade. You have what's called like a pomade, and then you have what would be the equivalent to like a powdery, soft, velvety textured shadow, powdered shadow. So I've never used a eye pomade. This is honestly the first time I'm using this brand altogether. So without further ado, we're just going to get into it and see what happens. So I am going to use, let's see here, and I love that it's all warm toned. It's so appropriate for the season. And I guess given the fact that, you know, it's pretty much a face palette, even if it's not fall, like I'm feeling some of these shades for like maybe concealer, for color corrector, especially like this one here. So yeah, and let's see. So I guess for our transition shade, or kind of like a all over shade, we're going to use, let's use Mirage, which is this shade here. Now again, there's two formulas. I'm going to try to apply the Mirage pomade formula onto my entire eye space, and let's see what happens. Okay, I will say first impression right away, with me using my brush, I did have to kind of dig into it for my brush to pick it up. I have seen some people suggest to use the pomade version with their finger, but for those of us who would rather not use our finger, or who do makeup on other people, you know, using your finger is not sanitary. So yeah, the only thing I'm noticing is that I have to kind of dig into it to get my brush to actually pick up product. To me, this is a game changer, and this is why. For those of us who have oily lids, such as myself, if you guys can see, this one is oily as opposed to this one now, and you use concealers to kind of set your eye before you apply your powder or your shadows, this helps take care of all of that, because if you use the pomade first and then you go after it and use the powders or the shadows, the powdery shadows, then it's pretty much a 2-in-1. It's a win-win. So it's giving you the ability to skip that step where you're typically adding concealer to, or even eye primer to your lid prior to you being able to apply your shadows. Okay, so I got one done. Yeah, again, the only feedback I have thus far is that I'm having to work for it here to get it on my brush, because the formula is wet. Now it's not like drippy wet, but it's definitely moist, and pomades can tend to be kind of heavy when you pick them up. So if anything, I probably next time would just carve just a tad bit out, put it on something like this where I can kind of manipulate it as I'm applying it on my, or putting it on my brush, and that may help for a better application. But again, this is the absolute first time I'm working with anything like this. So I didn't want to be one of those that kind of do it off camera and then come on like I know what I'm doing. I like to experience these things with you guys. So this is like a trial and error type of video, so to speak. Now, I mean, the finish, after you've applied it, the finish is beautiful. It's very soft. This is definitely a great kind of transition shade. I really like it. Now, texture-wise, what does it feel like? We know pomades tend to be, or can be, rather sticky. This one is not sticky. I would say a little bit, it's slightly tacky, but it's not sticky. Okay, so now that we have that on, I'm going to use a separate dry brush, and I'm going to go back in with the actual powder now. The same shade Mirage, but we're going to use the actual powder form. And this is amazing because you're setting it using the same shade that you applied the pomade. Exactly. Tack is gone. Now it's not tacky whatsoever because we applied the powder on top of the pomade. And this is like double reinforcement for your looks. You have the pomade underneath, so you just don't have the shadow, which could potentially crease and start like, you know, cracking. You have the pomade in the exact same shade that you have the shadow on top. I like that. I really like that idea. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And to be honest with you, if I was going out, like out for the day, I probably would put like a little bit of something shimmering in my tear duct area, throw on like a heavy liner, some lashes, and be done. And that was literally just one shadow. Okay, that is cute. That is cute. But I want to see how well this performs if we've done all the setting, but now we have to go in and apply a separate color. Like, will it get muddy? Let's see. Let's see what happens. I am going to apply core. But to be fair, I don't think I'm going to apply the pomade, or at least not at first. So I'm just going to take core, which is like a terracotta, reddish brown, very warm tone shade. I'm going to just take the shadow version or the powdered version and apply. And let's see what happens. And I'm applying it to where your crease should be. Come on. I like this. Okay. now, no additional product. I'm just kind of blending it and flicking it a little bit upward towards where I applied Mirage. And now I'm going to apply Harvest, which is this shade here. And we're going to apply that. Oh, look at it in my eye. Going to apply that here. This is a pretty neat palette in the sense that, again, both textures of product, but for me, it's a bit of a curve. Reason I say that is because, again, the pomade, me and the pomade, we're not seeing eye to eye right now. So I'm going to try to apply it with my finger and see if I get a different result, because it's not liking my brush. For this one, probably not a fluffy brush, but more or less a thin brush. Let's try a thin brush. So I'm going to try my Morphe M224 brush, which is very much so a thin bristly brush, and let's see if I can get more product down. I'm liking the subtle smoky eye it gave me over here. I'm still working on this one, but I'm liking the subtleness of how it's not a in-your-face bold smoky eye, but more or less a neutral one, just based on how well the shades all kind of blend together. So now I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is called, oh goodness, Tourmaline. And I'm going to apply the pomade it as a liner. And let's see how well that applies. Okay, that's pretty good. Nice. Under eye. I was able to do up top and bottom and not have to go back into shadow. And now I'm just going to try and smudge out the bottom just a bit. Like that, that's cute. And then I'm going to apply to this eye. And now I will be applying my blush, Nars All That Glitters Light Reflecting Cheek Palette. And the shades I'm going to use, this one here, which is Sabrina. This is a very beautifully curated palette. You can build it up depending on how heavy you want your blush to be, but it is sheer. So it's a good thing it is buildable because you can add layers as you go. And for my lips, I will be using MAC Cosmetic Chestnut Lip Liner. And to fill it in, I will be using a soft matte lipstick by Miliani. This one is in the shade Desire. And on top, for a little razzle dazzle, Amber Sparkle by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Alright guys, so this is the final look. Off camera, I applied some Lilly lashes. Style is like Miami, for just more of a fuller, more dramatic look, especially since my eye looks smoked. I'm digging the smokeness. But here it is, guys. First impression, final thoughts on this video. This is a fun palette. I think it's innovative. First time I've ever seen a eyeshadow slash face palette that has both a pomade as well as a smooth kind of satin powder component to, or not component, but partner to the pomade in the same shade. So I do think that's rather unique. I will say there is a bit of a learning curve. For me, again, I never laid eyes on this palette in person until I literally just did this video. I just took it out the Sephora bag, just took it out the box. So I was a bit bummed that I could not apply it, you know, the pomade at least the way that I normally apply my shadows. And speaking of shadows, there is a bit of fallout. I do want to show you guys. If you can see here, like I said, I was kind of struggling to get the pomade onto my brush. So there's some indentation there in those pomades for that reason. Would I suggest this palette? This, again, it's a good palette. We have 10 shades to work with, 2 textures for each shade. This retails for $65 at Sephora, and I'm sure also on Danessa Myricks website. This is going to be for me a at your discretion palette. Again, there's a bit of a learning curve, and given the fact that it is a neutral palette, some of the shades, you know, it may take a minute to just work with them and kind of get your rhythm going. Now, for pro makeup artists that do this every day, all day, multiple faces, I believe they will boom this palette. They will get the most out of it. They will be the ones that is like, I can make this palette make sense. Again, it's an at your discretion palette. I'm not downing it. I actually really like it. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to figure out all the various ways to use it myself. I'm sure I'll probably even feature this in another video. But again, 2 textures. That pomade may catch some of you guys off guard. So if you are single user. Maybe if you use your finger or find a more firmer bristled eyeshadow applying brush, it would work, you know, a little bit better for you. But again, this video was my first impression, my first ever working with it. For me, it's a keeper, but you guys let me know, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? And as always, in the comment box below, there's going to be a list of all the items used to achieve this look. Let's chat about it in the comments. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Are you going to pass on it? Have you purchased it? Have you found interesting ways to use both of the textures? Again, let me know. And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. You know how much I adore and appreciate each and every one of you. Stay safe, be well, exercise self-care. We are in the month of September. Suicide Prevention Month, Self-Care Month. Make sure you exercise self-care. It is not a privilege, but a necessity. And check on your strong friends, starting with yourself. Can't stress that enough. Well, guys, we've come to the end of the road. Thank you. Guys, be well, stay safe, and until next time, we shall chat again soon.